This is about regaining control, not over the vast, unpredictable chaos of the external world, but over the highly manageable internal architecture of your own mind. It is a declaration of cognitive independence. You recognize the symptoms, that insidious anxiety, a low-frequency hum of worry that never quite dissipates, the frustrating memory lapses, the name on the tip of your tongue, the forgotten key location, the crucial detail lost just when retrieval is most necessary, and the exhaustion, not from physical exertion, but from sheer mental density. This state is cognitive overload, and it is the single greatest thief of healthy aging. It systematically steals your presence in the moment, erodes the vital drive required for motivation, and leaves you standing in the middle of a room, your internal software momentarily frozen, wondering why you initiated the movement in the first place. We have been conditioned to approach these profound feelings with proportional complexity. We search for expensive, exotic supplements. We engage in endless, confusing searches for the next superfood capable of unlocking brain potential. We sometimes rely on heavy, systemic medications simply to damp down a nervous system that has been pushed past its capacity for equilibrium. I am here to halt that exhaustive search. I submit this crucial truth. You already possess every single resource required to restore clarity, establish deep-seated calm, and reclaim full mental independence. This restorative power resides not in grand gestures or complex biohacking, but within the small, intentional, and supremely safe routines that you can implement today, immediately, right where you stand. Imagine the profound experience of waking up truly lighter. This lightness is not merely physical, but deeply mental. Your thoughts are organized, flowing steadily, rather than spinning uncontrollably. You recall the day's necessary tasks, without the crutch of triple-checking exhaustive lists. And perhaps most importantly, you feel safe when you're alone, because your internal environment, the landscape of your consciousness, is quiet, organized, and predictable. These life-altering shifts are not the result of miracles or genetic luck. They are the direct outcome of effective cognitive engineering. They materialize when you deliberately adjust the subtle, yet powerful, environmental inputs that govern your nervous system. The light that hits your eyes, the sound that enters your ears, the posture you hold your body in, and the visual clutter surrounding you. In my practice specializing in mental hygiene and healthy aging, I have witnessed complete transformations in emotional stability, focused attention, and sleep quality catalyzed by changes so minutely simple they initially seem trivial. We are discussing 3-minute rituals that can restore genuine calm faster and more effectively than hours of forced, unguided meditation. We are identifying simple adjustments to your immediate physical environment that deliver better, more immediate mental clarity than the delayed benefits of walking 10,000 steps. I am a doctor who prescribes environmental scripts because clarity itself requires a plot, a simple, repeatable sequence of actions that guarantee a predictable, positive outcome. Do you want to know the most common, most detrimental error I observe in high-functioning people over the age of 60 who increasingly complain of debilitating anxiety and frustrating memory issues? They silently tolerate the destructive tax of external and internal noise. They tolerate visual clutter in their primary living spaces. They passively tolerate mental drift, operating under the wishful, false hope that this cognitive erosion will eventually halt or reverse itself autonomously. It will not. Take a moment to analyze the precise trigger when you realize you are overwhelmed. This feeling is almost universally tied to a sensory input that has exceeded your filtering capacity. It might be the imposing pile of scattered papers on the edge of your desk. It might be the low, insistent background drone of the news channel, playing continuously even when your attention is elsewhere. That noisy environment is not company or distraction. It is a relentless tax collector. Every unnecessary sensory signal is constantly draining your finite cognitive reserve. Every single extraneous object that your eye registers, every unnecessary decibel that your ear processes, occupies critical cognitive bandwidth. Your brain, particularly the brain undergoing the natural process of aging, must work exponentially harder to effectively filter out this relentless background noise and assign relevance. This sustained, high-effort filtration mechanism is the root cause of why you feel that specific, bone-deep mental fatigue, why you lose the thread of complex conversation mid-sentence, and why you feel that tight, chronic knot of low-level anxiety residing permanently in your chest. I, too, have experienced overwhelming cognitive fatigue. It is a universal human experience. When my clinical work demanded intense focus, I observed an instant and direct degradation in my physical surroundings. My home became an almost perfect, chaotic reflection of my internal state. I initially thought the solution required a distant vacation or a total break. I was wrong. I needed a precise, targeted shift in the borders I held between my internal and external environments. Here is the essential secret to emotional stability. You must systematically engineer the conditions for peace before you can successfully feel peace. Mental state follows environmental state. To put in the clutter that steals memory and focus. Let us begin with the most immediate and influential environment, your primary visual landscape, the kitchen counter, the desk, the nightstand, and the central living space. When you enter a room that is visually dense, piles of mixed mail, stacks of unrelated books, tangled charging cables, and numerous objects lacking a clear home, your prefrontal cortex registers instant, intense friction. This visual chaos is the direct neural equivalent of opening your computer browser and simultaneously having 50 demanding tabs open, all competing for system resources. In this state, nothing in the room or in your mind runs efficiently. Every task, no matter how minor, takes significantly longer and requires increased effort. This chaos is not merely messy, it is a verifiable thief of your memory function. If your hippocampus and cortex are preoccupied and strained by the burden of processing ceaseless background visual noise, the brain is rendered unable to allocate sufficient resources toward two critical functions: effectively encoding new information, learning new names, understanding new concepts, or successfully retrieving old specific memories, the name you need, the location of your keys. The bandwidth is simply gone. The definitive effective fix is both ruthless and beautifully simple. You must strategically introduce anti-anxiety corners. These are designated zones or surfaces within your home that are aggressively minimalist, bordering on monastic. Choose one entirely clean counter space. Designate one corner of a main room that contains only a single, chosen piece of furniture and nothing else. Your nightstand must be limited to only a water glass and a simple lamp. These intentional spots serve as non-negotiable visual anchors for your overstressed system. When you feel the mental swirl starting, the onset of chatter, the tightening of rumination, you physically move your body to one of these spots and simply rest your gaze upon the emptiness. This disciplined, enforced practice compels the brain to rest its high-demand visual processing system. It functions as a complete micro-reset for the frontal lobe. The resulting equation is irrefutable. Significantly less visual clutter equals immediate internal calm, which directly translates to vastly improved memory access. I urge you to try this potent, Japanese-inspired ritual, designed to instantly reduce mind chatter. Locate a small, simple object, a smooth, natural stone, a favorite, plain mug, or perhaps a single, perfectly arranged flower in a vase. Sit purposefully in your designated anti-anxiety corner. Stare exclusively at that single object for a focused duration of 3 minutes. Notice only the tangible reality, the texture, the precise way the light reflects, the simple boundaries of the object. Crucially, no phones, no screens, and no internal narrative about the object. This singular focus ritual instantaneously soothes the amygdala, the hypervigilant anxiety center of the brain, because you have momentarily and successfully replaced processing sensory chaos with the singular resting presence of one thing. Now, we shift focus to the omnipresent yet overlooked drain of sound. A large segment of the population, particularly those living alone, often leaves the television, radio, or tablet playing continuously throughout the day, rationalizing this input as company or necessary distraction. This practice is profoundly counterproductive to the foundational goal of mental stability. Background noise, especially highly modulated spoken word, rapidly changing news reports, or musically complicated audio, imposes a constant, unnecessary cognitive drain. Your auditory processing system is genetically designed to attempt constantly extracting semantic meaning, prioritizing potential threats, and filtering conversational targets from that auditory chaos, even when you believe you are successfully ignoring it. Intentional silence or organized quiet sharpens the mind like nothing else. The room does not require absolute, heavy, pressurized silence. It requires intentional quiet. Create and rigorously adhere to the PEIPO, sound plus light, Jigant Peace formula, for at least 2 consecutive hours every day. The formula is structured. First, turn off all sources of semantic digital noise, news, talk radio, podcasts. Second, shift all lighting sources to warm, heavily filtered light, like a low wattage lamp, completely avoiding harsh blue spectrum overheads. Third, allow only intentional, resting sound, a gentle, monotonous rain recording, soothing classical instrumental music, avoiding lyrics, or optimally, complete stillness. This deliberate imposition of quiet allows your brain's default mode network to organize, restructure, and integrate the day's information without interruption. This is precisely when memory pathways are consolidated and pruned. It is the only environment where genuine, deep neurological rest occurs, even while you remain consciously awake. Daily mental hygiene, essential anchor habits. Preventing the insidious onset of chronic anxiety and acute cognitive drift requires the implementation of non-negotiable anchor habits, small, ultra-reliable actions that consistently stabilize your mood and refine your focus at the most crucial transition points of the day. Your morning routine is the compass that sets the directional energy for the entire day. If you skip the necessary slow, intentional start and immediately launch yourself into a state of urgency, checking emails, reviewing the news, you instantly spike your cortisol levels, setting a biological trap that guarantees an eventual afternoon crash and heightened evening anxiety. Anchor. Habit 1. The morning light. Reset. Immediately upon waking, your body's most crucial requirement is natural light exposure. Move directly toward the light source. Open the blinds completely. Sit by the window for 5 minutes. You do not need the chemical rush of caffeine yet. You need light. Exposure to bright morning light. Ideally, direct natural light, but even filtered through clean glass is effective. Signals your brainstem to properly initiate and regulate your sleep-wake cycle, the circadian rhythm. This activation stabilizes mood by regulating serotonin, reliably improves sustained energy later in the day, and makes the essential process of falling asleep easier that night. This light exposure is non-negotiable, fundamental mental hygiene. The optimal window for this is within 30 minutes of waking. While sitting in the light, immediately engage in gentle, deep breathing. 5 seconds for the inhale, 7 seconds for the slow, complete exhale. Perform the specific pattern 10 times. This simple breath ratio, long exhale, is the most potent, free, and accessible tool for instantly downregulating your sympathetic nervous system. You're using your breath to explicitly, biologically signal to your body that it is safe, secure, and under your control. Follow this breath work with a ritualistic warm drink, warm herbal tea, warm water infused with lemon. Bypass the rush of concentrated late morning caffeine. Instead, use the comforting warmth of the mug in your hands as a concrete physical anchor. Focus your entire attention on the sensation of the heat, the subtle scent, the exact taste. The highest quality focus ritual rigorously excludes the phone or any screen. These 10 minutes of focused warmth, stabilizing light, and steady controlled breath Successfully stabilize your baseline mood for the next several hours. Anchor. Habit 2. Clarity Foods. The science of stable energy. Understand that food is far more than mere fuel. It is complex informational input that dictates the moment-to-moment function of the brain. Our nutritional aim must be absolute energy stability, deliberately avoiding sharp blood sugar spikes followed by crashes. We must proactively eliminate the infamous afternoon sugar crash. That sudden, devastating dive in physical energy and cognitive focus that predictably hits around 3 p.m. is almost always the delayed result of complex, rapidly processed carbohydrates or hidden sugars consumed hours earlier. This crash not only destabilizes your physical energy, but radically destabilizes your mood, making you feel markedly less competent, less motivated, and significantly more anxious. What to skip rigorously? High sugar, processed cereals, highly refined white bread products, and all late-day caffeine. Late caffeine, anything consumed after 1 p.m., adjusted based on your personal metabolic sensitivity, is a biological guarantee that you will disrupt the necessary cycles of deep sleep. Remember, poor fragmented sleep is the undisputed #1 accelerator of both chronic anxiety and measurable memory decline. What to embrace? Clarity Foods. Strategically prioritize protein, dietary fiber, and healthy, non-inflammatory fats at every major meal. Look for stable, nutrient-dense sources: almonds, walnuts, chia seeds, eggs, fatty fish, salmon, avocados, and a wide array of colorful, nutrient-rich vegetables. These macro inputs slow digestion, ensuring glucose enters the bloodstream slowly and predictably. Furthermore, hydration remains critically essential for peak focus. Even mild unnoticed dehydration immediately mimics the negative symptoms of cognitive fog, frustrating fatigue, and irritability. Keep a dedicated glass of water constantly nearby. Mentally frame water as the essential lubricant for your neural synapses. It is required for efficient information transfer. There is one specific, often overlooked nuance regarding nutrition and stable brain energy: the role of room temperature consumption. Do not refrigerate these specific items if you are relying on them for immediate, stable brain energy. Certain tropical fruits, like bananas, especially when slightly green, shown firm, and starchy root vegetables, while refrigeration extends shelf life for immediate and gentle energy provision. A perfectly ripe, room temperature banana or a handful of non-refrigerated nuts provides a fast, gentle, and sustained lift. This room temperature delivery avoids the digestive shock and unnecessary energy spike associated with highly processed foods, providing quick, clean fuel directly for the high-demand prefrontal cortex. Torstas, the quiet room. Reset, a 10-minute physiological ritual. This powerful, short ritual is specifically designed to immediately halt pervasive rumination, drastically reduce acute anxiety levels, and physically restore genuine presence and grounding. You can execute this sitting perfectly still in your current chair. Step 1. The anchor posture, 30 seconds. Sit intentionally with your feet planted absolutely flat on the floor, parallel to each other. Feel the entire supportive weight of your body pressing down onto the seat and the floor beneath you. This is the physiological state known as grounding, proprioceptive awareness. Gently pull your shoulders back and down, allowing your chest cavity to open slightly to facilitate easy breath. Consciously release any remaining tension you are gripping in your jaw, forehead, or neck muscles. Step 2. Scent and sound. Cue. 1 minute. Keep a small, dedicated bottle of a specific scent nearby. Rosemary or peppermint essential oil are highly effective choices known for simultaneously increasing focus and inducing calm. Take one deep, full inhale directly from the bottle. This scent serves as your powerful Pavlovian cue. This scent signifies the moment of mandated calm. Immediately following the scent, close your eyes. Begin actively listening for the single farthest sound you can accurately perceive. A distant clock ticking, the murmur of traffic outside, the hum of a refrigerator. Focus exclusively on that one sound, ignoring all others. Step 3. The steady vagal breath. 5 minutes. Breathe in deeply and completely through the nose, ensuring you are filling the lower abdomen first, not just the upper chest. Hold the breath gently for a full count of 3. Then, exhale slowly, deliberately, and completely through the mouth for a sustained count of 8. The focus phrase. As you initiate the Iyudwa Indpis, inhale. Mentally repeat the phrase, I am present. As you execute the long, slow exhale, mentally state, I release control. Repeat this specific cycle 30 consecutive times. This extended 7 to 8 count exhale sends a definitive, immediate relaxation signal directly along your vagus nerve pathway to the brainstem. You will feel an involuntary slowing of your heart rate and a noticeable physical dropping of the shoulders. Step 4. Micro movement and gaze stabilization. 3 minutes. Open your eyes slowly, allowing them to adjust. Systematically look around your anti-anxiety corner. Stand up with extreme slowness, paying attention to the transition of weight. Do not allow yourself to rush this transition. Movement that benefits the stressed mind is not necessarily high-impact aerobics. It is about active grounding. Walk slowly, paying deliberate attention to minute details. The specific feel of your foot rolling heel to toe on the floor. The texture beneath the sole. Where is your gaze focused? Keep your visual gaze steady and fixed, aimed about 10 feet in front of you. This type of walking meditation completely stops overthinking, because you are instantly redirecting all available cognitive resources to immediate, real-time sensory input, rather than the internal feedback loop of chatter. Take a moment to feel the profound shift. You should feel heavier, rooted, more physically stable, and significantly less susceptible to the previous mental wind and chaos. This is genuine control. This is regained autonomy. Didwuratp, sleep, memory, and the essential bedtime border. We erroneously categorize sleep as a passive process, but it is in fact a period of hyperactive restructuring for the brain. It is the only phase during which long-term memory consolidation occurs, and vital emotional regulation circuits are completely reset. The direct consequence of poor, fragmented sleep is unstable emotions and highly fragile, unreliable memories. You must treat your bedroom like a fortress, a sacred border that digital noise, operational urgency, and stressful input are not permitted to cross. Bedtime light. Protocol. 2 full hours before your intended bedtime, implement a strict light curfew. Dim all lights dramatically. Replace white or blue spectrum bulbs with red or amber filtered lamps. Blue light, specifically emitted from screens, tablets, and bright LEDs, actively inhibits the production of melatonin, the crucial hormone required to successfully initiate and maintain deep sleep. This is not a generalized suggestion for comfort. It is a rigid biological requirement for healthy aging. The silent room mandate. Your bedroom environment must be rigorously dark, cool, and silent. If you require sound for sleep, make it a constant, low-frequency white or pink noise machine, entirely avoiding fluctuating music, audiobooks, or cognitively demanding podcasts. The calming bedtime snack protocol. A small, easily digestible snack consumed approximately 45 minutes before bed can significantly help stabilize blood sugar levels throughout the night, proactively preventing common midnight wakings that are often intrinsically linked to energy crashes or hormonal dips. Ideal options include a small apple, a handful of tart cherries, a natural source of melatonin, or a piece of whole grain toast with a small smear of nut butter. These options provide the gentle, necessary supply of glucose that aids the brain's critical recovery work without creating digestive stress. This process specifically aids the tryptophan pathway, calming the entire nervous system and ushering in calmer, more restorative rest cycles. Living alone and the practice of speaking peace. For many individuals over 60, especially those who live alone, the most intense and constant challenge is the uncontrolled, looping internal dialogue. Rumination, persistent worry loops, and the amplified feeling of loneliness can escalate baseline anxiety into a debilitating state. We require actionable habits that physically replace that damaging, unregulated internal noise with organized thought and explicit, verbal self-validation. The script of self-talk. When a persistent worry arises, do not merely allow it to loop endlessly in your head. Externalize it using your actual voice to immediately organize the thought. If you are worried about an upcoming doctor's appointment or a complex decision, say it aloud clearly. Okay, I'm worried about the potential cost of that procedure. I need to call the billing department tomorrow morning to clarify. I will write the specific action down now. Speaking complex thoughts aloud forces instantaneous organization within the prefrontal cortex far faster than pure, silent thought, and dramatically reduces the emotional charge attached to the worry. It efficiently converts an overwhelming worry loop into a discrete, manageable, and actionable task list. A superior alternative to exhaustive journaling. This 3-minute physical reset involves acquiring a single small piece of paper, a note card works perfectly, and writing down only the 3 most urgent, emotionally charged things currently occupying your mental bandwidth. Not every single item, just the big 3. Then deliberately fold the paper and place it into a designated symbolic dish or box. This physical action serves as a definitive, external handoff of the burden. You grant yourself permission to examine the concerns tomorrow, but for the specific moment, the worry is contained, neutralized, and officially outside of your head. Eye contact with the self. When you look into a mirror, stop the habit of immediate aesthetic judgment. Instead, look directly into your own eyes and verbally acknowledge your current internal state. I look exceptionally tired right now, but I'm safe and secure. I feel distinctively anxious today, but I'm fully capable of solving this manageable problem. This small micro-habit of deliberate self-validation powerfully reinforces internal emotional strength and actively reduces the pervasive, draining feeling of external dependency. Movement for the mind, the posture of autonomy. We have established the benefit of slow, focused walking for immediately halting mental spin. But we must also address posture, which is the immediate physical expression of held internal tension. Anxiety biologically compels us to hunch. We pull the shoulders violently forward, collapsing the chest, which systematically restricts deep, stabilizing breath. This restrictive posture, in turn, signals to the brain that we are actively in danger, the classic protective fetal stance. The simplest, yet most effective movement intervention, implementing posture correction as a consistent, daily ritual. Every single time you prepare to sit down, whether at the table or in a chair, consciously set your posture. Ensure your feet are completely grounded, your spine is elongated as if stretched by a string, and your shoulders are actively relaxed and pulled back. Take 2 full, deep, stabilizing breaths while meticulously holding this improved posture. This instantly opens the lungs, increasing vital oxygen flow to the brain, and simultaneously signals confidence, stability, and calm to the entire nervous system. You are physically declaring, I am stable, capable, and in control. This disciplined, interwoven combination of intentional breath, rigorous visual order, and confident physical presence is the precise engineered pathway through which you regain presence, consistent motivation, and profound clarity, all without reliance on complex, expensive, or external solutions. But a note on safety, limits, and professional care. Always honor and respect your personal limitations. If any component of these routines, the deep breath work, the drastic changes in environment, or the slow movement exercises, feel intensely uncomfortable, trigger distress, or increase feelings of panic, stop immediately. These routines are gentle, designed to be adapted easily into your existing life, and are fundamental tools for proactive mental hygiene. They are not, and should never be viewed as, replacements for necessary clinical care. If you are managing existing medical conditions, chronic severe anxiety, or clinical depression, you must consult a licensed professional healthcare provider. Always ensure your physical and medical safety first. Your immediate challenge, the actionable script. You now possess the detailed roadmap required to achieve lasting balance, cognitive independence, and genuine calm. Remember, this balance is achieved exclusively through deliberate, repeated action, never through passive, wishful thinking. Your task for today is simple, entirely manageable, and requires zero financial investment. 1. The calming swap. Identify one single food or drink item you routinely consume that reliably precipitates a negative mental or energy crash, e.g., the late afternoon sugary coffee, the midnight processed snack, the excessive wine. Commit to swapping it, just once today, for one of the clarity foods mentioned, a specific handful of nuts, a small piece of fruit, or a warm mug of herbal tea. 2. The 10-minute action. Commit to rigorously executing the quiet room reset ritual described above. Immediately find your anti-anxiety corner, clear one small spot on a table if necessary, and run through the complete 10-minute sequence of grounding posture, focused scent sound cue, and the deep, vagal, stabilizing breath. Do this specific script today. Feel the immediate, profound shift from relentless clutter to stable calm. Take full control of your cognitive balance. It starts now.